Hi guys, I hope you're all well. I just come from spending a little bit of time in the sun. Yoga in the sun, yes, on a summer's day, yes, in the heat of Korean summer. And it felt wonderful. And it sparked a thought that I wanted to share. And the thought was why breatharianism is possible. So I came across this concept a while back and never dived into who does this, why they do it, if it's possible. I just knew that there were people who believed they could survive without eating or drinking anything. And I recently came across the topic again because I myself am journeying with food for the last few months, and yeah, there's been some pretty interesting awareness that's kind of come around the conditioning around food, right? That we have to eat 3 times a day, and then some we have to eat 3 times a day and have snacks in between, and some we have to eat meat because our forefathers ate meat and that's what we grew up living on, and our bodies need the protein from meat. And then others that say we absolutely don't need to survive on meat, we can survive off the protein from nuts and whatever other sources. And there's just so many ideas around sustenance. Let's even come away from food. Let's say sustenance, because breatharianism is you're sustaining your body, but just without food or drink, right? So why do I believe a flexible term that breatharianism is possible? So as I've been studying my own journey through light body activation, I came across an article. I've been sharing a few videos on YouTube about light body activation. And as I've been journeying with each stage of my own light body activation and coming to understand my awakening and how light body activation has explained the stages of awakening that I went through at the time, I've been diving a little bit into some scientific explanations. So, I mean, it's all well and good to understand from a spiritual perspective, and to be honest, science has not caught up to spirituality yet. So there is a little bit of a lag, but we do have science to help our human brains understand some of the concepts that maybe we cannot bring to, or maybe that we cannot really navigate from a spiritual perspective, because I won't go into the mechanics of that. But let's just say, usually the deeper you go, the less there are words to define and explain what you're experiencing and what you're knowing. So in this article that I've been diving into, a channeled article from Archangel Ariel, channeled by Tashira Takiren, it speaks of the 12 stages of light body activation. And the very first stage is when light is kind of, or our cells, the cells in our bodies are kind of flooded with light. And so the cells then begin to kind of send messages between the DNA and themselves. And what this is triggering in the DNA is the shift from only changing food into energy, or only getting energy from food, but also now using light as a source of sustenance, as a source of energy. And so everybody is going through the shift, whether they know it or not, moving from only, or from food only, or from food being the only source of energy, to now light also being a source of energy. And basically, the more you activate along these stages of light body activation, the more the cells are able to kind of hold more light. My third video, which I will hopefully post by today, will talk about the mechanics of this situation, of exactly how this happens and how certain things are triggered, and while those things are triggered, more light is being able to be held in the cells, and therefore more light being able to be transformed or changed into a source of energy, and the communication between the cells and the DNA. So because of this knowledge, it tells me that if this is already happening, and if the whole planet, including the actual planet and every living thing on the planet, is already going through the process of using light as a source of energy, is already activated the first stage of light body activation, which began in 1988, then it's possible that we can use just light as a source of energy, the way we used just food as a source of energy. I don't know what your thoughts are around this, but I think from a theoretical perspective, it's possible. Whether I am going to journey in that direction, I don't know. I'm curious right now. The curiosity is definitely sparked. And I can say that I have been doing fasting, and I haven't yet done a water fast, but I am preparing my body for that. Also because I work 5 days a week, so going through the period of detoxification can also be quite draining and difficult on the body physically as we transition, right? So doing that while working a full-time job is not easy. So the fasting I actually found with just eating one meal a day, and that meal being mostly raw vegetarian or raw vegan, I actually felt more energized at work during the day. Usually I feel quite slumpy and tired in the morning, and then my energy will pick up around midday and for a couple hours, and then by 5 or 6 o'clock it starts to slump again. But I found that when I was eating that one raw meal a day, my energy was a lot more consistent, and I just had more throughout the day. So it was an interesting experiment to kind of observe my body while playing around with that. I will do a water fast soon. How soon, I don't know. But I definitely am curious about this breatharianism. No food, no water. The no water part particularly. Apparently we do consume through our in-breath a certain amount of moisture, and then of course we lose it on our out-breath. But yeah, this is a very interesting topic that I am definitely going to do a little bit more digging into. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Is breatharianism possible? Do you think humanity is moving in that direction, considering the fact that our cells are being taught and mutated and transitioned into recognizing light as a source of energy? Do you think that in our distant future we might be completely weaned off of food as a source of sustenance? What are your thoughts? I hope you guys have a good one, and see you guys soon.